Have you ever looked at a couple and thought, wait, they're together? Because on the surface, it just doesn't make sense. Different energies, different backgrounds, different vibes, opposite lives, and yet somehow it works. Right now, there has been a lot of buzz around Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson, two public figures with seemingly different energies. And while we don't know the details of their relationships or their dynamic, because that ain't our business, what captures people's attention isn't just their fame, who they are. They see a contrast. They see Megan as her boldness, brilliance, and powerhouse performance in the music world. And Klay has built a reputation as a calm, focused, reserved NBA veteran. And on paper, totally opposite. But that's not what's interesting. Not because we don't know them personally, but because they remind us of something real in our relationships. We've all seen relationships or been in relationships where two different, very, very different personalities somehow work. And that's what we're going to talk about today, family. Family, this podcast is not about celebrity gossip. Let me make that clear. We don't do that here. This is about what we can learn from what we've observed. Why opposite attracts, what compatibility really means, and how real connection might not always come from someone just like you. When I met my wife, some people couldn't see how we'd make it work. We were different in ways that made people whisper, give it time. One of them gonna get tired of the other one and bounce. We even had some good old church folk who said, they're too different. She's this, he's that. It's not gonna last. But here we are, nearly 30 years in, still in love, still learning, still laughing, and still growing. So I will tell you from experience, being opposites wasn't our obstacle. It was our advantage. See, most people define compatibility like this. We both like going to the beach, or beach getaways. We both are night owls, or we both like have the same taste in music or movies, but that's not compatibility. I'd say that's comfort. True compatibility shows up when you're vulnerable, when life gets heavy, when things break, and it's not how well you match on paper. It's how someone makes you feel when your guard is down. That's why something that Meg said in an interview really stood out to me. It got my attention. She talked about being with someone kind, someone who made her genuinely happy. And that struck me, not because of who she was talking about, but because of what she was describing. Emotional safety. Not flash, not fame, not he completes me, just kindness, a calm presence in a chaotic world. And I think that's the lesson a lot of us miss. Here's something I've noticed, not from the headlines, but from life. Some women, bold, strong, together women who are grounded and thriving, they often find themselves drawn to men who move quietly. And not because those men are weak, but because they're steady. Because in a world that's constantly loud, it's comforting to have someone who doesn't need the spotlight to stand tall. There's something powerful about a man who doesn't compete with your shine. He just lets you be. And when a woman speaks about kindness, about how someone makes her feel seen without needing to perform for it, that's not fame. That's not about fame. That's about feeling emotionally held. And that feeling, my God, on today, it changes everything. Sometimes the thing a woman craves isn't more glitz, glamour, jewelry, and gestures. It's peace. It's a sense of calm, a partner who knows how to be and not just do. So let me break down, I'm gonna call it relationship 101. Extroverts often bring energy to a room. Introverts often bring balance to chaos. One partner pushes, the other partner paces. One partner dreams big, and the other partner make sure the foundation is solid. It's not about opposites clashing, it's about complementing. And I recently read in this little article about psychology, there is this thing called, and I hope I say it right, complementarity theory. And it suggests that couples with contrasting traits often create a natural balance. There's differences. Their differences don't tear them apart, but it brings them together. But here's the key. It only works when there's mutual respect. Respect when you don't try to remake your partner into your image. You honor who they already are, even if it's different from you. You don't drag them into your comfort zone, and they don't try to shrink into your world either. And that's where alignment happens. Not because you're the same, but because you see each other clearly. And let's be real. We've all dated people who felt familiar. They liked the same music, they liked laughed at the same jokes, had the same sense of humor, maybe even shared a similar background. And on the surface, it made sense. But over time, you realize familiar doesn't always mean fulfillment. Because life gets hard when you're tired, when you're stretched, you're going through something deep, and you don't need someone who mirrors your personality. You need someone who can hold space for you, hold space for your pain without making it about them. You don't need more of you. You need someone who can bring you back to you. You see, the right person might not fit that checklist. They may not look like your type, but they'll feel like peace, because it's not about how alike you are. It's about how aligned you are. You don't need a twin. You need a steady flame, one that balances your fire instead of burning you out. So let me ask you a question, for real talk. When was the last time you dated kindness? Not charm, not chemistry, not charisma, not someone who knew all the right things to say. I'm talking about quiet, steady, grounded kindness. The kind that doesn't rush you to be okay. The kind that holds space when you're not okay. Because here's what I've seen, especially from people who or have grown, healed, and are doing the inner work. You can be strong. You can be successful. You can have your whole life together and still long for something kind and soft, something safe, something simple. You can be with someone who commands the room and still crave someone who doesn't need to compete with you in that same room. You can be powerful and still want a partner who will let you rest, because the right love doesn't just hype you up. It also calms you down and settles you. Sometimes real love doesn't shout. Like I said, it settles you. It doesn't demand. It makes space. And that space, that's where you start to feel safe enough just to be. So here's your reflection from today. Are you chasing someone who matches you, or chasing someone who actually balances you? And are you drawn to what's familiar, or connecting to what's healing? I want you to do me a favor. I want you to drop me a fire emoji if you're the bold one in your relationship, a teddy bear if you're the calm one, and a heart if you feel like your relationship is balanced. Because no matter who you're with, someone loud, someone quiet, or someone just like you or totally different, what matters most is how you show up in the relationship. You can't control your partner's personality, but you can control how you nurture the differences between you. So family, I want to leave you with some homework this week. I want you to grab a notebook or on your phone, or you can order one of our Can I Share My Heart With You journals on Amazon, available right now, and answer this question. For your partner, what's one difference between me and my partner that actually makes us better? And after you get that, how can I lean into it more this week instead of resisting it? And if you're single, I'm not going to leave my single friends out. I want you to think back. What differences did you see in a previous relationship? Did they drain you? Did you learn and grow from them? family, if this podcast helped you today, don't just click away. I want you to share it with a friend. Tag somebody who just needs a reminder, who just needs to hear this. And I want you to hit subscribe if you want more content that helps relationships grow one conversation at a time. Family, I'm Frank, and this is Soulful Conversation. I'll see you in the next episode.